The next story is Lazy Jack. Lazy Jack. Jack is a boy's name, man's name. Lazy means unwilling to work. Unwilling to work. Okay? Unwilling. Does not want to. He does not want to work. He wants to just play around. Okay, so it's about a man who does not like to work. It's about a man who does not like to work. But let's see what happens to Jack. A long time ago, there was a man, and he was a young man, and he lived with his mother. He lived with his mother in the forest. Okay, tree, and so they lived in the woods. Woods means forest. And so they lived in the woods, and they lived in the woods. Well, mother was very, very poor, so she wanted Jack. She wanted Jack to work, but Jack didn't like to go to work. He was unwilling to work. He was a lazy boy. So one day, mother said, because Jack was already 20 years old, he was old enough to go to work, but Jack was a lazy boy. He was a lazy boy. He was not willing to work. He doesn't want to work. So one day, Jack's mother said to Jack, "Jack, please go to work and make some money." She said, "I have to pay for food, and I have to pay for this and for that, and so I need money." And so she said, "Please go to work and give me some money," she said to Jack. She begged. She asked him, "Please go to work," she said. But Jack ignored her. He did not pay attention to her. He ignored her request. And so after a while, mother became very, very angry. The mother was not happy anymore. She was angry. She said to Jack, "Jack, if you are not going to work, please leave my house. Go into the world and make your own living. Make your own living." Okay, make your own living is like you pay for your living expense. You pay for your food, you pay for your rent, you pay for your gas bills, electricity bills, you pay for your telephone bills, you pay for this and that. You do all by yourself, she said. Go into the world and get yourself an apartment, work, and pay everything by yourself, she said to Jack. Now, Jack did not want to leave the house, and he said, "Okay, I will go and look for a job," he said. Finally, he said, "Okay, I will go and look for a job." So, the first day, Jack went to work. Jack looked around. He looked for a job, and he found a job. There was a farmer. Let's see, the farmer. There was a farmer. Farmer said, "Okay, I will hire you. I will hire you means I will give you a job. You can work for me." he said to Jack. So Jack went to work for this farmer all day. He went to work early in the morning and stayed until 6 o'clock in the evening. And at the end of the day, at 6 o'clock p.m., 6 p.m., the farmer gave him money. The farmer gave him, I don't know how much, the text says penny, but penny is a very small amount of money. But anyway, the coin, it's a coin. Okay, so the farmer gave him a one piece of coin for the payment. Payment is something that he paid him for his work. Jack worked for the farmer for all day, so the farmer gave him a payment, which was a penny, a coin. Okay? So Jack was very glad to receive his payment. So he had a handkerchief, the handkerchief. And so he put the money in the handkerchief. He wrapping like a wrapping paper. He wrapped the money in a handkerchief, and he ran home because he was very happy to receive the coin, and he wanted to give that money to his mother. So he was so overjoyed. He was very happy about it. So he ran home. Okay? He ran home. And then he came home and he said to his mother, Mother, I got paid. The farmer gave me a payment. And so the mother said, Oh, Jack, very good. Give me the money, she said. And then Jack unwrapped means opened it. Unwrapped the handkerchief, and then he found no money there. He lost it. When he was running, he dropped the money from the handkerchief, and there was no money inside the handkerchief. Jack said, Oh, Mother, I'm sorry, he cried. He said, I wrapped it in a handkerchief, and I lost it on the way home when I was running home. Mother became very, very unhappy. She was not happy. So she said to Jack, why didn't you? Why didn't you? Why didn't you put the money into your pocket? Put the money into your pocket, she said. So Jack said, I'm sorry, Mother. I will remember your advice. I will remember your words next time. So the next day, he went to work for the farmer again. And he worked very hard all day. And at the end of the day, farmer gave him milk. Milk. The farmer gave him milk. But the milk was in the jug. Okay? This is a jug of milk. So milk is inside. And this is jug. Okay? So Jack remembered what Mother had said about the payment. So he decided, a jug of milk. This is a jug of milk. All right? When you have a milk in a glass, that will be a glass of milk. But this milk was in a jug, and therefore it was a jug of milk. Yeah? So he remembered what the mother had said, so he put the jug of milk in his pocket. He tried to put the jug of milk into his pocket, and he ran home. But when he was running, the milk came out, and he spilled the milk. The milk came over the edge of the opening, and he lost all the milk. The milk spilled. Jack came home, and mother said, "Jack, what was your payment? Give me the payment," she said. And then Jack said, "Oh, mother, you told me to put the payment into my pocket. So the farmer gave me a jug of milk, and so I tried to put the jug of milk into my pocket, but when I was running, milk came over the opening of the jug, and then I spilled all the milk. I'm sorry," he said to mother. Mother said, "Oh, Jack, you are such a silly boy." She said, "You are such a silly boy." Silly means stupid, not smart. You don't think very well. You are a silly boy. Why didn't you put the jug of milk on your head? You know, jug of milk. Oops. On your head and carry it home. Carry it home. Why didn't you put the jug of milk on your head and carry it home? Mother said, "You are a very silly boy, stupid boy," she said. Jack said, "I will remember." Okay, I will remember. Okay, I will remember your words, your advice. So the next day, Jack went to work for Jack went for another farmer, a different farmer. And at the end of the day, the farmer gave him eggs. The farmer gave him eggs. How many? 12 eggs. A dozen eggs. Okay, a dozen means 12. So the farmer gave him a dozen eggs. Jack was very happy because mother will be very glad to have eggs, you know. So Jack remembered what the mother had said. The mother said, "Why don't you carry the payment on your head?" So he tried to put the 12 eggs on his head to carry them home. So he put one on his head, and he put the second one on his head, and then he wanted to put the third one on his head, and then the first one fell down and broke. He put the fourth one in his head, and then the second one went down and fell down and broke. So one by one, all the eggs fell down and broke. Jack came home, and mother said, "Jack, what was the payment?" Jack said, "Oh, mother, the farmer gave me a dozen eggs, but you told me to carry the payment on my head, so I tried to put the eggs on my head, but then one by one, eggs fell down and broke. All the eggs are broken. All the eggs are broken," he said to mother. Mother said, "Oh, Jack," she said. She was not happy. She shouted. "Ah!" she said. "Oh, Jack, You are so silly, stupid, she exclaimed. Exclaim is like, ah! She exclaimed, and she said, Jack, Jack, you are so stupid, so silly. Why didn't you carry the 12 eggs, a dozen eggs, in your hands and carry them home? She said. Jack said, I will remember your advice. So the next day, Jack went to work for a baker. Baker, the person who bakes bread, baker. Yeah. And then the baker gave him, I don't know why, but the baker gave him a pig. You know, pig? Pig. The baker gave him a live pig. The pig is still alive. It's, you know, it's not dead. You know, the pig is still alive. Okay, the baker gave him an alive pig. Jack remembered, yes, I must carry the pig in my hands, in my arms and hands and arms, and carry it home. So he put the pig, okay, he tried to put the pig in his arms, and he wanted to carry the pig home. But the pig did not want to be carried. The pig did not like it. So the pig struggled. The pig moved about violently. He moved and, no, don't carry me. The pig struggled. Struggle means to move, because struggle means the pig moved around very, very wildly, strongly, violently, because it did not want to be carried. And so the pig jumped out of his arms and ran away. Jack lost the pig. Now, Jack came home, and the mother said, what was the payment? And Jack said, well, the baker gave me an alive pig at the end of the day for the payment, and you told me to carry the payment in my arms and hands and arms, and so I did, but then the pig struggled and jumped out of my arms and ran away, he said to the mother. Mother, exclaimed, and she said, silly, silly boy, why didn't you put a rope around the pig and pull the pig home? Okay, so it's like, okay. So, rope around it and pull the pig home. Why didn't you put the rope around the pig's neck and pull the pig to take it home? He said, Mother, I'm sorry. I will remember your words. Well, the next day, Jack went to work for a butcher. Butcher. Butcher, well, I should write it better. Butcher is a person who sells meat, like he sells pork, pig's meat, or cow's meat, beef and pork. And he sometimes has cows and pigs in the backyard, and he kill the animal and cut it up and sells small pieces of meat to people. That's butcher. Okay. So Jack went to work for a butcher, and at the end of the day, the butcher gave him a chunk of meat. A chunk is a solid piece. Okay, chunk of meat. So it was a large chunk of meat, real big meat. Jack remembered, oh yes, I must put a rope around it and pull it. So that's what he did. He put the rope around it and pull the meat on the road like this. Well, when he was pulling the meat, a chunk of meat, let's see, dogs came. Many dogs came, and they began to eat a little bit. Not just one dog, but many dogs came, and so they began to eat a bit of meat, one bite. Another dog came and ate a little bit. Another one came and ate a little bit. And so soon the meat was gone, and he had only the rope. He came home, and the mother said, what was the payment from the butcher? Jack said, the butcher gave me a chunk of meat, a large chunk of meat, but you told me to put the rope around it and pull it, and so I put the rope around the big chunk of meat and pulled it, but dogs came and ate every bit of it. Every bit of the meat. Mother exclaimed. Ah, she said, silly boy. Silly boy. Why didn't you put the rope around the meat and carry it on your shoulder? Why didn't you carry it on your shoulder? Carry it on your shoulder. Jack said, I will remember your advice. And so the next day, Jack went to work for a herdsman. He went to work for a herdsman. Okay? Herdsman is a person who keeps many animals like sheep and goats or cows and maybe other animals. Herd is a group of animals. And so someone who keeps 30, 50, 80 sheep or goats or I don't know, cows and horses maybe. Anyway, or elephants. So herdsman is a man who takes care of animals, many animals. Anyway, Jack went to work for a oops, it's not a man. Let's see. A herdsman, okay? And he had not elephants, but he had goats. Goat. You know, goat is, oops. I don't know how it goes. Goat. It has the horns and beard. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how goat is, how goat is like. The horns, and this is a goat. Goat has beard, and it goes ba ba ba. Okay, so it's not sheep. Goat. So he had goats. Now he went to work for the herdsman, and at the end of the day, herdsman gave him a goat. So Jack remembered how he should carry the goat home, and then he said he remembered his mother's words, and he thought, oh yes, I must put the rope around it and carry it on my shoulder. So this is what he did. He had a goat. Okay, goat's legs. Okay, so this is goat. He put the rope around the goat, and he put the goat on his shoulder, and he began to carry it home. Okay. Now, when he was carrying the goat, he was walking, and he passed by a house. He walked by a house. There was this big house, and this big house was a rich man's house. A rich man lived in this house. And in this house, a rich man and his daughter lived. Okay, daughter. Okay, so she was a beautiful daughter. She was a beautiful daughter, but she was not a very happy girl. She was a very sad girl. She was a very sad girl, and she was very unhappy. She was very unhappy. The merchant, although the rich man, he was a merchant, but the rich man, he wanted he wanted his daughter to be happy. He wanted his daughter to be happy, but the daughter was very sad all the time. And so he was thinking, if anybody could make my daughter happy, I will give him a lot of money, and the man can marry my daughter. He was thinking, he was planning. If anybody could make her happy, he would give the man or woman a lot of money, and if it happens to be a man, then he thought she can marry the man because the man can make her happy. Well, Jack was walking by this man's house, and this girl, unhappy girl, was sitting by the window. The girl was sitting by the window, and she happened to be there. She did not plan to be there. She just was there accidentally. It was not planned. She just happened to be there. And so she was sitting there and watching, outside, looking outside. And then Jack walked by the house. with the goat on his shoulder, and the goat's leg, the front legs and back legs, they were stick up. They were sticking, means, going like this, up in the air, and the goat is struggling. The goat doesn't like to be here like that, and so the goat was struggling. And Jack was struggling too, because Jack did not want the goat to run away like the pig, and so he was carrying it, and he was walking like this. And then the young girl, this daughter, saw Jack walking, struggling, and walking very, with difficulty. She looked at Jack, and she thought it was very, very funny. She thought it was very funny. She thought it was humorous. She thought it was comical. She thought it was hilarious. She thought that was so comical, hilarious. It was so humorous. It was funny. So she began to laugh. She began to laugh. She'd never laughed before, but now she was ha 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 ha. She was ha ha ha. She was laughing. The father, the rich man, heard the child or the daughter was laughing. He came out. There was a door. He came out and he said to Jack, "Excuse me," he said, "who are you?" Jack said, "My name is Jack." The rich man said, "Jack, thank you for making my daughter happy. This is the first time she laughed in her life, and I'm so glad you made my daughter laugh. You made my daughter happy." He said, "I will give you lots of money," he said, "because you helped me so much. I will reward you. I will give you a large sum of money." A large sum of money means a large amount of money. A large sum of money. I will give you a large sum of money. And then he said, "You can marry my daughter. You can marry my daughter too if you want to." And so Jack said, "Thank you very much. I will receive a large sum of money and I will marry your daughter." So a few days later, Jack and this girl went to church and they got married in the church, and Jack made a big house, and he lived in this house with his new wife, with his daughter and mother, very happily together for a long, long time. The end.